Hello and welcome to my programming attempts over the last couple weeks. Essentially, there is a game jam going on called LOWREZJAM, which is about making a game that takes up a 64 by 64 pixel area. Of course, you can scale it up so it's easier to see, but otherwise it needs to stay locked to those resolution. In fact, here's a couple examples of things that are bad, which is basically not being exactly locked to those pixels and doing effects and textures and things that you shouldn't do. It literally just needs to be 64 by 64. There's also Let 'em Dare 35 with the theme of shapeshift. Here's Mixel. I don't know what that is, but it's interesting. Oh, create new blocks and ships and merging things and doing stuff with blocks. And as you can see, there's an hour and 25 minutes left at the time that I'm recording this. And on this one, there is 7 hours and 25 minutes left. I tried to participate in both of these, and unfortunately, I'd say I kind of failed. So this is Pixel Harvest. It's a work in progress. Essentially, it was a 64 by 64 pixel, you know, for the LOWREZJAM Harvest Moon kind of thing. So you can see there's a red box that's supposed to be like where you're looking at, and there's a blue box that's supposed to be where your character is. As you can see, they are broken. Just a bit broken. In fact, the blue one seems to be stuck in 0, right now, and I don't know why, and that's a problem. But yeah, I pretty much quit working on this after a while because of the problems I ran into with it. As you can see, it's just kind of... I had a basic system for moving around working. I don't have any animations done. I do, however, have a couple different textures to draw the person in the right way. And you can see it's like a farm area that you can walk around on, and there's tiles and stuff. But I didn't get much farther than that. My second attempt at making a game for the same game jam is this. It's Space Administration is what I called it. And if you see it running right here, this actually... There we go, yes. So you can see we have some buttons, and we have horrible, hard-to-read text because it is, you know, limited to those pixels, and I used a font that I made that you can sort of read it. Like, you have to kind of think about it and think what it's supposed to say before you can read it. But you can see choose a mission, 3 available, available spelled wrong, select research, 3 available, available spelled even more wrong, 1958, January. You have an income button. It shouldn't actually be January because NASA was not founded in January of 1958. Although I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd have to double check. Essentially, you're NASA. You're running NASA. You have funds here at the bottom. You have your research over here. And you're trying to do missions and research. And then there's news reports. And those tell you what's going on. I never got farther than making the basic template to choose a new research or new mission, and that's about that. It has a background image that I'm kind of happy with, but, oh yes, this was the original image. There is, well, not the original image, that was modified slightly, but you can see I've made a couple 64 by 64 pixel versions of it, and unfortunately, that didn't work terribly well. However, yeah, that's kind of how that ended up. And then my final attempt, something that I intended to work on for both the Let 'em Dare 35 and the LOWREZJAM, because I did start it in the time frame for the Let 'em Dare. Unfortunately, I started it earlier this morning, so I started it with about 5 hours left, and I worked on it for about an hour, maybe, probably a bit less. I was distracted quite a bit. I was watching a actually very entertaining live stream on Twitch of people doing voice acting for Let 'em Dare games. As you can see, this is your ship score. If it is damaged, you die. Press any key to continue. Press WASD keys to move. Try it. Press a non-movement key to continue. And press spacebar to... Oh, I never actually fixed that because it's, you know, it says spacebar. Then it goes off the screen, but it's supposed to say press spacebar to fire your weapons. And if you try it, this is the... excuse me, this is the part where I got stuck. These values that are showing up are completely wrong. There should only be 4 lines being printed, and they should be very specific lines corresponding to the top of each of these sections of red. The red are your weapons, just like the yellow is your core, and then the gray is the whole of the ship. But unfortunately that didn't work, so we just have something you can move around with, and that's all there is to it. It's unfortunately very incomplete, and I decided to quit working on it because of that. Something else I worked on recently is LuaFuck, which is a system I made, a compiler if you will, that compiles brainfuck code into Lua so that you can run it. Basically, I read some books and stuff about how to make a proper parser and the various pieces and components that should be made to do that. I started working on it, and then, unfortunately, the guide I was following was written in the most confusing Python I've ever seen, so I couldn't follow it once it got to the parser stage, and I got kind of stressed and overwhelmed about various things and wanting to participate in game jams, so I quit working on it. But, you know, that's a thing I've been working on. One thing I have been seriously working on is pop.box, which is a GUI library that I've been working on, and I'm kind of worried right now because I just pulled the updates from the server and they're conflicting with my local version, which means I might have some broken stuff. Okay, that's interesting. This is not the same popbox that I am used to. It's broken. It's broken. This is a Linux Mint virtual machine because it's very useful. There's not much new to see exactly, but it works a little bit better under the hood if I remember correctly. I've updated some things, changed some things, and primarily the biggest difference is that I have documents that are better. So, you know, like I said, there's not much to see here, but I have been working on it, and I've been also going on the Love community and talking to people and being like, hey, what would you want in this? Please let me know, and I will do my best to do it. So, with all of this, what am I trying to say? Basically, I'm trying to say that I learned the hard way recently that before I start working on a game, I really should have the full idea down, concrete, ready to go, from beginning to end, all the design. I should have it ready. I shouldn't just go with the idea and let it flow, because it ends up not flowing, and I end up not creating anything, or at least not creating anything worth showing or sharing. And yeah, I guess I showed you some things, I shared some things, but essentially, I'm learning the hard way that I need to be more careful with how I go about things. In any case, I hope you found something interesting in this video, and sorry it's not regular content, but yeah, that's kind of what's up with me at the moment. I had a bit of a bad couple of days, several bad days, maybe a bad week, and a couple of good days, including lots of work being done on Popbox, which I'm very happy with. But yeah, that's generally what's up with me with programming right now. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'm going to turn this off for now. See you in space.